Hey everybody, Norm over here, and I have a very special guest here for our Guitar of the Day. A good friend of mine. He played with Jackson Browne, Linda Ronstadt, the Dillards. He played with Tom Petty when Tom Petty did Mudcrutch. He's like one of the go-to guys. He played with John Denver a lot. The great Herb Pedersen. And Herb plays acoustic guitar, banjo, mandolin, you know, pretty much everything with strings and frets.
Not mandolin, but dobro, little dobro.
Little dobro?
Yeah.
So we're doing a very special thing that we just got involved with in. Herb, can we just open this up?
Sure
Take a little look?
You bet. Nice new case here. Ooh, look at that.
So what this is a brand new Gibson, and we have become Gibson dealers again because I really like some of the stuff that they're doing, and I really kind of cherry-picked what I think is really great. What do you think about this?
I think it's a beauty. I mean, it's so, well, first of all, the thing that I noticed was how light it is. And back in the day when they were making these, the J-45, they were a little heavier.
Yeah, they were a bit heavy. It
seems like they've kind of gone a little further in, you know, putting them together.
Right.
The quote right way.
So, you know, this is factory black with a white guard with the Gibson logo. What's really cool about these now is that the real 68s had a very narrow nut.
Right.
This has got a wide nut, like maybe a late 50s J50 or J45. So, little phone call here. I'll filibuster for a minute. So, we're really proud to be a Gibson dealer again because they're really doing some beautiful stuff.
They are.
And we are, you know, we're on top of it and kind of picking and choosing what we think are some of the best things. They're doing some things according to you know, what we agree upon, and I really think that they really came to the party with this.
You know, Norm, the factory specs, too, back then, are a little different than what they are today, I think.
Yep.
And the putting together of these guitars has become a lot more refined now.
Well, they're listening to what the players want, because a lot of the players didn't like that narrow nut. So that's
right.
Really
there
cool
was a narrow nut, but the neck was almost like a Louisville Slugger. It was real heavy, you know. But this has a nice feel to it.
The whole construction of the guitar is lighter.
Yes, yeah, and it's like ball players today are so much further beyond what they were in the early 40s or 50s, you know. And you know, they've really done their homework with this guy. It's really
they really. I'm proud to say that we have become a dealer because I found the things that I really love that they're doing. They're listening to the players, and they're really coming to the party. So
that's huge. You know, for a company to listen to the guys who actually go out there and do the work, like me, like my pal Chris Hillman. You know, all the guys that are out there in the trenches playing every night. Well, we used to be. Anyway.
Yeah, not right now.
We'll get back to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's great that they're listening to what we have to say about what we like about their instruments and don't like.
That's what the companies did back in the day, is they did listen to the players. Then they tried to figure out ways to make things cheaper, and consequently, they were moving backwards in quality. And I really think that this is a beautiful example of something that they're really trying to do, and they're putting a lot of effort in it. So I'm really proud to be a dealer for Gibson again, and it's been about 15 years, and I think the company's really come around. We've got some real good allies in there. They're listening to what we say, and I'm really proud to be a dealer again. So Herb, why don't we take this thing out and let's show them what it can do.
Okay, great.
Herb Pedersen. Everybody, so we're out front here with my buddy Herb. And Herb, you know, it's kind of a cool story when Tom, you know, got in touch with you to play with Mudcrutch on their last tour.
Right.
You know, you're known for 5-string banjo as well as guitar and a number of other instruments. And and Tom Ledden, the other guitar player in Mudcrutch, actually the guitar player in Mudcrutch, along with Mike Campbell.
Right.
And Tom played bass.
Right.
How did they get in touch with you for that?
Actually, Fred Wallachy, who you know very well, he called, well, Tom called Fred to borrow a banjo to record with Mudcrutch. And Fred didn't have anything that he said, why don't you call Herb? Because he has a bunch of banjos at home. So Tommy called me, and he came over to the house, and I had about 3 or 4 banjos laid out there, and one of them had a skin head on it, 1931 Gibson, and a newer master tone, and just different tones that you would get out of these banjos. And so Tommy was fooling around with it, trying to figure out which one it would be the easiest for him to play, since he hadn't played banjo.
And when you say Tommy, you're talking about Tom Ledden.
Tom Ledden, right. So, I was just very patient listening to him, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, well. And finally Tommy said to me, what am I doing? Why don't we just have you come up and play the banjo part on this? I said, well, call the boss and see what he wants to do. So he called Tom Petty, and Tom said, yeah, bring him up. That'd be great if he wants to do it, So.
And you did that whole tour as well as a record?
Yeah. I actually played banjo on one tune, and then I did some harmony parts on another song.
Oh, you do a lot of singing as well, too.
Yeah, so, and then, a few weeks later, Tom's management called me and asked me to go on the Mudcrutch tour, so. That was
cool.
it. But Petty was such a great guy. He was just a
Absolutely.
wonderful musician and a wonderful guy.
And he could do a lot with just a few chords, too, right?
Yeah, he sure did. He proved that over and over.
A lot of great songs.
Yep.
So show us what this guitar does here. You're going to flat pick and then finger pick a little bit, right?
Being a bluegrass guitar player, rhythm guitar player, I always listen for that bottom end. And this has such a sweet, even tone. Very even. It feels like a guitar that's been played for 15 years. It's open. There's not a lot you have to do with it. Just right there, all the way up the neck. It's wonderful. So let me put my finger picks on here, and I'll just play a little of, I'll play a tune that Earl Scruggs actually taught me to play when I was working for Lester Flatt years ago. It's called the Cannonball Blues, and see if I can remember some of it. And Earl always used finger picks when he played guitar, being the banjo player that he was. But it has such a wonderful warm sound to it. I'm not used to the neck yet, so there was a couple of little warts on it there, but you get the idea. It's a great sounding guitar, and an asset to anybody's collection.
And it looks pretty good too.
It sure does, yeah. Reminds me of Don and Phil's guitars a little bit,
Yeah.
the color, yeah. So there you go.
And you're going to do some with just, well, you did a little with the flat pick,
Sure.
there, right? So,
Yeah.
But so, how would you rate this guitar on a 1 to 10? Being a new guitar coming out of the box.
Oh my gosh, I'd call this at least a 9.5. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
That's a great rating.
Yeah, it hasn't even been reset. Like you take it to your luthier and have him reset the bridge.
Nothing.
I don't think you need anything. It's just right there from the harmonics. It's nice, it's great right there. Yeah, it's great. I mean, we do a tune called True He's Gone, Chris and I play it like this open B. And usually when I do this on one of my guitars on stage, I usually have to retune the B string to let it match up. But this one's good to go. It's great.
Well, you guys look him up. That's Herb Pedersen, and that's with a D. Pedersen. And this guy's, you know, one of the go-to guys for so many instruments and singing. And you played with John Denver for a long time too,
Yeah,
right?
a couple of years, yep.
And you sang with him too?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, actually, there's a clip of us doing "Wake Up a Little Susie" in Australia. If you go to John Denver / Herb Pedersen, it'll pop up on YouTube.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Well, this is the guy. Good enough for Tom Petty, good enough for anybody. Herb Pedersen, right here.
Thanks, folks.
That was awesome.